My relationship with my dad changed when I, teen male, was still a kid and he left my mom for another woman, who was pregnant with his kid at the time. To make things worse, she was married to someone else as well and the dude was crazy. My dad knew all this and he brought me into that mess by insisting he was going to stay a part of my life, and then had me in the house when his affair partner's husband came and started throwing crap at the house and calling for my dad to come outside so he could fight him. The police were called, but before they could arrive, the ex broke into the house and he and my dad attacked each other. His affair partner's son was there and she asked me, a kid, to protect her even younger son. My dad and the other dude got arrested, and when the whole thing was being worked out in court, my parents' divorce was finalized, and at the last custody hearing, the judge only gave Dad every other weekend because of the bad decision making to take me around at that time. Apparently, his affair partner's husband, ex now I know, had already shown up at the house and made threats, and he put me at risk knowingly. I only had to see him until I was a young teen, and then I stopped going. In the time I was with him, he told me I was still his priority, but he didn't show it. He made promises but always fell through. He promised to come to a football game I was playing but didn't make it, and said his stepson got sick and he needed to stay with him. Another time he took the weekend off and said he was taking me camping, just him and me. He said we needed time together. But then his stepson had a karate award ceremony or something and he wanted to go to that, so he said another weekend we go, and he berated me the rest of the weekend for not celebrating his stepson with the family. Then he wanted to come to a competition I was in. He begged me to save him a ticket, so I did. But he didn't show up and he said his stepson was being bullied and he had to go to the school about it. He followed through about twice with promises. One was to take me to see a movie I'd wanted to see with friends, but he said he wanted to take me. The other was him showing up at a meeting at school about learning challenges I had. He only attended one of the 5 meetings about it though. But hey, he promised one and he actually came, so yay him, I guess. He begged me to come and see him and the kids and spend time with his family, and I said no. I told him he cared more about them and he already looked bad in my eyes because he cheated on my mom, but then he also brought me around crazy. Last year I got into a car accident and was brought to hospital. My mom let Dad know several times. He didn't show up until the next day and said it was because 3 of his kids had school plays back to back. I had the nurse kick him out and ask that he not be let in to see me. He tried calling, but I ignored him, and I kept ignoring him when I got home. He left it for a few months and then reached out to me in June and pleaded with me for whatever chance it was. He said he loved me, he saw me as a priority just as much as the others, and he wanted me to let him show me. He said he'd do anything, and after months of begging we talked and I invited him to see me in a competition. I told him it was his final chance and I didn't care what emergency happened because in an emergency for me he put damn school plays first. He assured me it would happen. The day of the competition came and he didn't show. His stepson had an asthma attack and was in the hospital. 2 of his other kids were homesick with the flu. He said he was needed at the hospital with his stepson, and he asked me to please understand, and would I really expect him to ignore the others and not rush to the hospital, and I said yes. I said if he could put a school before making sure I was okay after a car accident, then he could do the same for me with his other kids. I said he won't, and I'm done. His wife DM'd me that night and she told me I was sick to want him to leave her son in the hospital and to wish that on someone. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'd write back and say he was sick for leaving you in the hospital and prioritizing a school play. Also, I'd write back and say she was sick for thinking it would be cool to screw a married man while also married, having the affair baby and forcing him to abandon his own kid, and then wondering why his son no longer wanted a relationship after he was repeatedly shown he wasn't a priority. She didn't force OP's dad to abandon his own kid. OP's dad chose to do that because he cared more about intimacy and having a relationship than his own child. The woman sounds like trash, but OP's dad picked her, so stop letting him off the hook by using the garbage woman as a scapegoat. We need to start calling out crappy moms and dads. In my opinion, OP's dad had a responsibility to his son and he failed. He's a failure of a father. Your dad has repeatedly failed you, broken promises, and put his other family ahead of you every single time. It's clear he hasn't learned from his mistakes, no matter how many chances you've given him. Your feelings are valid, and honestly, it's not sick to expect your dad to prioritize you for once. You gave him another chance, explicitly stating your expectations, and he still failed to meet them. It's okay to be done. My wife Jess and I have been married for the past 13 years. We're both 39. After experiencing financial hardship throughout our 20s and early 30s, Jess and I are now fortunate enough to have the means to travel once or twice a year. The only problem is that Jess literally only wants to go to Disney World. We've been to Disney 9 times now, and every vacation we've ever taken together was to go there, including our honeymoon. So we go, we eat the Mickey Mouse ice cream, we wear the mouse ears, we stay in the official hotels, we see the characters, we ride the rides, we take the pictures in front of Cinderella's castle, and we come home. Every trip. I'm honestly beyond sick of Disney, and I never really liked going in the first place. Jess knows this, but she has no concept of travel beyond Disney. We're currently planning a trip for April, and Jess, as usual, said that we can just go to Disney. I explained that it sounds fun, but hey, why don't we go somewhere like Hawaii this time? Jess was confused. She asked why we would go to Hawaii. I responded that we could enjoy the spas and go to the beach. Jess mumbled a half-hearted answer and walked away. A few days later, she approached me, saying that she'd made hotel reservations for Hawaii. At first, I was excited because although she did it without consulting me, it seemed like she was really listening. But then when she showed me the hotel she booked, I found out she made reservations for Aulani, the Disney resort in Hawaii. Frustrated, I told her that I'm honestly tired of Disney and that I just want to have a different experience this time. She told me that she was compromising with me and that I should be appreciative for the time she spent. I asked her if she was willing to consider anything other than Disney for our trip, and she said no. At this point, I said that I wasn't going. Now she's furious. She cancelled the reservation she made, and now she's looking for a friend to go to Disney World with, again without me. Was I the idiot here for not trying to accommodate her request? You are the idiot. Bro, how the heck did this go on for 9 trips without you saying something? I'd have gone mad after going the second time. For real. Who wants to go to Disney World on their damn honeymoon? He married a Disney adult. They're a different breed. It's one thing to be an adult and be able to enjoy Disney. Disney adults are a whole other thing. Like how you can like horses, but horse girls are a thing. It's the first thing I thought of. For some people, Disney is a legit religion. Their home is decorated with icons of Disney characters and the walls have Disney liturgies written on them. Their vacations are religious pilgrimages to the Disney Mecca. This is why the wife looked confused. It's like telling a Muslim that you should go to Hawaii for their religious pilgrimage. It makes absolutely no sense from their perspective. After 9 trips straight to Mecca, my wife suddenly snaps and says she's sick of making the pilgrimage and would rather stay home than going to a mosque-themed hotel in Hawaii. Like, damn, I thought you were obsessed like me. 9 trips and you never said anything. Tried to suggest anywhere else. Now you want to throw a tantrum and refuse to go to Hawaii? OP, you are the idiot. Should have said something earlier. Now she doesn't know who she spent the last 9 years with from her standpoint. I'm 25 female and I'm this close to losing it completely. I need to know if I'm the villain here because my family's acting like I committed a federal crime. So a bit of background. I've been with my fiancé James, 27 male, for 5 years. We finally got engaged last month and I was so excited to share the news with everyone. This was huge for me. I've always been the low-key one in the family and this engagement finally felt like my moment. My sister, Rachel, 28 female, is the golden child. She's pregnant with her 3rd kid, with a useless husband who barely works, but that's another story, and my parents treat her like she's the second coming of the Virgin Mary. Don't get me wrong, I was happy for her, until this crap show went down. So last weekend we had a family dinner at parents' house. I'd planned to announce my engagement there. James and I even brought a bottle of champagne to celebrate. We're sitting at the table and right as I stand up to share our news, Rachel stands up, taps a glass and says, "We have an announcement." She then tells everyone they're having a girl. Cue the oohs and ahs. My mom practically leapt out of her seat to hug her and suddenly everyone was gushing about the baby. My engagement ring was burning a hole in my pocket and I just sat there like an idiot. James squeezed my hand under the table and I thought, okay, whatever, I'll just wait for a quieter moment. But then Rachel turns to me and goes, "Oh, Luna, what were you going to say?" And the way she said it, smug as heck, like she knew she'd stolen my thunder. I was so caught off guard, I just mumbled, "Nothing, it's not important." She smirked and went right back to talking about the baby. I was fuming. James was fuming. But I stayed quiet to avoid drama because, family peace and all that crap. Fast forward to Rachel's baby shower 2 weeks later. I went because, despite everything, I thought, okay, I'll be the bigger person. But the second I walked in, she was all fake smiles and said, "Glad you could finally make it," in that condescending tone that makes me want to throw things. I snapped. I don't know what came over me, but I said, loud enough for the whole room to hear, "Yeah, I wouldn't want to miss another chance to have my moment stolen." The room went dead silent. Rachel's face turned red and she hissed, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And I said, "What's wrong with me? You hijacked my engagement announcement and you know it." Then I walked out. Now my phone is blowing up. My mom says I ruined the baby shower and that I'm jealous of Rachel. Rachel's been texting me that I'm a bitter witch and selfish. Even some cousins are saying I overreacted. But honestly, I feel like I finally stood up for myself. I didn't yell, I didn't break anything, I just told the truth. James said I did nothing wrong, but now I'm doubting myself. So, am I the idiot for finally calling my sister out and maybe ruining her baby shower? Not the idiot, well done. She knew what she was doing and now you return the favour. Also, there were probably some people there who know she's terrible and secretly enjoyed it. Block all those people, including mother who favoured one kid over the other, and celebrate your wedding with people who actually like you. Don't let sister come to the wedding because she will find some way to pay you back. Don't let mother come either because she'll make it all about sister not being there. Honestly, I think you should get a medal for not throwing the champagne bottle at her during that dinner. Am I the only one who thought, who the heck has a baby shower for their third? Your sister is the idiot and your mom is too for constantly coming to her defense rather than being a neutral parent. You were indeed the bigger person at the dinner. Good on you. What you said at the baby shower was entirely 100% justified. The truth hurts. Your sister can play victim all she wants to get the desired attention and false sympathy she obviously craves. You are the idiot, honestly. This was at a generic family dinner that you weren't even hosting. Her baby shower was for her, so your line about having your moment stolen was laughable. I kept being upset that she stole your thunder, but there was nothing stopping you from still announcing your engagement that day. You could have seized the moment right back. I, 33 female, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, 32 male, for just over 2 years. We've had our ups and downs and always came back together and stronger, but recently our biggest hurdle has become clear. He bought an apartment. We talked about moving in together several times, but couldn't decide on where to live. We didn't want to move out of the city we're currently in, we live 20 kilometers apart, and he recently changed his mind about wanting kids. While I'm child-free by choice and have been verbal about this from the start, it was even on my dating profile. This led to him buying an apartment for himself, which is 32 square meters, overpriced and partially paid for with money from his parents, which he actively had to ask for. He wanted to leave his previous rental apartment because he was unhappy there. Moving in together was on the table again, but due to our differing views on location and children, it was a tough decision for me to look for something together. He was welcome to move into my rental apartment, a 2-bedroom, 75 square meter, newly developed penthouse with a wraparound balcony, parking and a reasonable price, but he declined because he doesn't like my city. For context, he works in my city and the distance is only 2.5 meters door to door. He says my city is too big, messy, busy and lacks a nice gym. He is really into a healthy lifestyle, so he would be unhappy again. He tried finding a rental in his city but had no luck, so he started looking to buy. As I work in real estate, I went with him to view properties initially and gave him my honest opinion when asked for. This caused friction because there weren't many good options within his price range, and he was looking at the options high in his emotions while I was being quite rational. I, however, was vocal about my worries of him buying an apartment and what that would mean for our relationship. He'd always said he wanted us to rent together for at least 2 years first before buying a place. His decision to buy now went against that and what he wanted for us, and that scared me. Eventually, he started viewing properties without me, started not telling me about them, and this concluded in him calling me to say he found something and was going to buy it. After showing me videos and the listing, I pleaded with him not to go through with it because it was too expensive for the size, he had to ask his parents for money, and it would complicate our future together. He brushed off my concerns, saying, "I just really need your support right now," and basically shushed me. This choice and how it was handled really hurt my feelings and damaged my trust in him and us. We took a 2-week break and reconciled. I love him and I can't bring myself to break things off permanently. However, now that he's living there, it's expected of me to be the supportive girlfriend and be happy for him, but emotionally I can't. I really dislike being there. It's tiny, I have to park outside the city and take a bus with all my stuff because he can't get a parking permit, and otherwise I'd have to pay €25 a day for the public garage, or I take public transport door to door, which prolongs the travel time by at least 30 minutes. And the city itself gives heavy student vibes which I've frankly outgrown. Staying over is just a hassle. I have a pet that I have to leave behind, which makes me feel guilty every time I go. And the fact that he asked his parents for money and them giving it knowing my objections stings. I always thought I had a good relationship with them. I see them quite often and am basically at all family gatherings. I haven't seen them or his other family members either after all this happened, and I'm dreading Christmas, to be honest. And honestly, it's also becoming an ego thing for me. It's just weird and hard to explain to friends and family that my boyfriend of 2 years, who wants to live with me in the future and wants my babies, bought an apartment recently for himself with no space for me and despite my pleas not to. Also, for context, he changed his mind about having kids, saying, "If it means losing you, I don't want kids." This back and forth on such a life-changing decision makes me uneasy because I'm sure of my stance while he seems uncertain. So am I the idiot for contemplating breaking things off with him? The apartment is not the issue, OP, though it might be a symptom. The fundamental incompatibility about having children is, and if he sacrifices his desire for you, he will resent you. Not the idiot, but breaking up is the right thing to do. He wanted kids and made bad financial decisions. He's a recipe for future problems and disagreements. OP, listen. He bought an apartment for himself. I think that says it all. It sounds like he changed his mind about having kids only because he needed your support. You need to move on and stop wasting your time. I honestly question his overall maturity. Someone who has their heart set on having kids at 32 years old wouldn't rush to close on a 32 square meter apartment. It's okay for one person, but that's actually tiny. I don't know if he's honest about wanting kids or about wanting to stay in the relationship or about anything. If I had to venture a guess, he wants OP to break up with him because he can't or won't do it himself.